A rich tapestry of aromas, tastes, colors, and sounds await you at Jody's Pick. Southern flavors with a touch of New Orleans and a hint of California, combined with an excess of bourbon. Yay! On Broadway in Oakland, you can find them all at Pican.
Everyone thinks of Southern food primarily as comfort food. Well, it is, but we've dressed it up. Essentially, we put an after-5 cocktail dress on it, and it's fine dining with flavor, hipness, and with a flair to it unlike you've seen anywhere else. My name is Michael LeBlanc, and this is Pican Restaurant. When we were trying to come up with the name for the restaurant, we wanted to have something that had a Southern flair to it. My wife just came out one day and said, "Why don't you name it Pican? You're eating them all the time." I am from New Orleans. New Orleans is a place where we have good food, good drink, and good music. And if you take that with the other things that I've been exposed to around the world, what I wanted to do is have a gumbo of all of those different experiences that I had. Gumbo, Pican, that's what makes Pican Restaurant. The presentation of the food here at Pican is elegant and it's refined. Sofina Yuang, our executive chef, just puts out a great presentation and something that makes us very proud of what we do. We have over 106 bourbons and, you know, think about it. I'm from New Orleans, bourbon, Sazerac, what else would you have? After you've experienced the food, the ambiance, the music, the diversity, the people, is we want you to walk out here feeling like you got a big hug, and we give you a hug.
Okay, Jody, we're going to talk about Pican, but first, you got to tell me about this hip-hop. Come on. I love it.
We found out. So I'm a member of this group called Platinum, and it's a hip-hop group. We're seasoned dancers. Seasoned. Old is such an ugly word, isn't it, Leslie?
All right, so when you're not boogieing at Pican, what are you eating?
Okay, well, first of all, you know, the big thing Leslie, I love about Pican is you arrive, and there's just that old-time sense of occasion as soon as you get there, but then there's the fried chicken too.
That's your go-to dish, the fried chicken.
I think everybody's go-to dish. Well, I won't speak for everybody, but it's just beautiful. It's really light, and then inside the chicken's really moist, and then they bring this truffle honey to your table, and this truffle honey divides the masses a bit, you know, and you're supposed to pour it over. So absolutely love or hate it. It's sort of like the Beatles, Rolling Stones kind of thing. And yeah, I love it because it's the truffle tastes like earth, and then you pour it over, and just the combination of the crispy and the moist chicken is just great.
I love your affinity for opposites attracting. What did you try?
Well, we first had a round of drinks at the bar, and I have to say they were so nice to us. They brought us a round of that delicious cornbread right when we got there, so it was great to have with the drinks. We almost didn't even want to go to our table because we were having so much fun. But then I had the molasses pork, which was delicious. You know, it almost looked like a rose. It was like this big, beautiful piece of meat, and it was on a top of a butternut risotto, like a grits kind of a thing. So delicious. But I kept reaching my fork over for my husband's Gouda mac and cheese on the side of that fried chicken. I don't think he got a bite of it. I was trying to like,
It's comfort food.
I really like this place, actually.
Yeah.
It really grew on me, especially when we first walked in. Like you mentioned, they take care of you so well, and you just feel comfortable.
Right.
You know, and it's so beautiful inside. It really is. The decor is really well done. We went all out. We had like three appetizers, which was I can't even remember some of them. We had the
You had too much bourbon.
Oysters. No, we had the oysters. We had the cornmeal oysters, and then we had the blue crab dip. The blue crab dip was absolutely just delicious.
Chock full of crab.
Just blue crab, especially we're so used to Dungeness crab on this side.
Nice.
It's a good change. We had the flat iron steak. The flat iron steak was actually served with a bone marrow, which was very interesting. And it was glazed with the marrow, obviously, but with salt on top. We had the fried chicken with the sauce on the side.
Okay, so are you on the love it, hate it side of the truffle honey?
That fried chicken was so good, I didn't need that.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't need that.
You're abstaining on that
one. Yeah, I'm standing on that one.
Okay.
We also had the catfish. I had the catfish. That was absolutely my favorite. The catfish was delicious. You know, again, it's something that we don't get to have here.
Right. Very often.
You know, it's all salmon or halibut or your typical.
Right.
The way they made this catfish was just
What
Do you
was
see
so
my
what
mouth
was,
watering? Come on,
what
Leslie.
was so alluring about the
Just the
catfish?
way it was done. It was moist, but it didn't fall apart. You know, catfish can fall
Had some
apart.
texture.
It had some texture. It held itself. But I also love the presentation. They made Southern food look beautiful.
Speaking of Southern, I have to talk a little bit about the bourbon because people know of my affinity and experience with wine, but I have to admit, a brown spirit like whiskey, bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, rye are my favorites. So they have a list of over 100 different selections for bourbon. It's astounding. So if anybody is a big bourbon lover, and did you guys indulge in the brown spirits at all?
Of course.
Yeah.
I started with the bourbon flight, and it was so good.
I didn't try it neat or straight or whatever you say. I had the Tennessee margarita, which was so delicious, and my friends had the Sazerac and the Old Fashioned.
Nice.
So we had a nice round of cocktails,
Those are
and they were
classic
just
ryes,
they were
classic
so
rye drinks.
delicious.
Yeah.
And again, they were just so warm and welcoming. They explained everything to us. It was so good.
Our server, this gal knew her stuff.
So really walked you through
I
all the
mean,
dishes and
She was a true professional.
right.
When you ask the waiter or waitress, you know, what do you recommend, and they actually come up with an answer, you know, instead of oh, everything's good,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and we're like,
Give an opinion.
I know everything's good, but just you
Yeah.
know, let's have a conversation about this. So I really like that.
Okay, desserts.
Mississippi pie.
Yeah,
We
had
shared
that.
one, 3 of us, my wife and son. We shared one because after all that, I mean,
Right.
It didn't look like what you would expect the mud pie to be, so I was a little surprised when it came out on
Right.
the table. But then when you tasted it, it was kind of like a deconstructed version of it, and it was
Yeah.
really delicious.
And the same with the banana pudding is deconstructed, and then you just
It reconstructs in your
mush
tongue.
and
That's right. You wash it down with a little bourbon. And oh, life is good. All right, this is your spot, Jody. Give us a quick summary.
Pican is a restaurant with a great sense of occasion, and don't forget to order the double dredged chicken.
All right, and Shahnam.
a beautiful spin on Southern food.
Okay, and Karen.
Total package of a restaurant, great food and great decor.
If you would like to try Pican, it's on Broadway at 23rd in Oakland. The telephone number is 510-834-1000. It's open for lunch and dinner every day with brunch on the weekends. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $45.